Hi, my name is Doug Dickinson. I'm founder and chairman of Destination Athlete, and I'm here today with Dave Lapoitavin, founder and president of Destination Recruit. Hi, Dave.
Hello, Doug.
And also Dr. Jared Spencer, sports psychologist for Mind of the Athlete. Today we have an open forum just to learn a little bit more about sports psychology, and we're going to focus in on the high school athlete, and we'll just have a conversation with Dr. Jared Spencer.
Dr. Spencer, as we prepare student athletes for the next level, we're assisting them through their training, their technique. We're assisting them and guiding them through the NCAA compliance rules and regulations. And what we've seen is that there's a tremendous amount of stress in the whole process. Do you talk with student athletes about those things, and can you guide us through how you cope with some of those stresses?
Absolutely. In January of 2011, the New York Times ran an article that said that today's entering freshman class in college has the worst rated emotional health in the last 25 years.
Wow.
Since the study started. So we know that they are coming in very stressed. This is especially true, I believe, for our athletes, because they have so many other X factors associated with their high school experience that bring upon them added anxiety or frustrations or just extensive emotions. And so we have got to be dealing with the mental side of the game for today's athletes, and I spend so much time addressing that aspect.
As part of Athlete Apps, we do a lot of work with athletes, helping them with proper nutrition, sports medicine. And can you describe just how, from a psychological standpoint, how that really completes the athlete?
It's very important to empower today's athletes with a holistic approach to wellness and to their sports.
Okay.
And so the mind is that critical key ingredient that is oftentimes overlooked, but we all know that sports is 90% mental, and according to Yogi Berra, the other 50% is physical. So we know that it's largely mental, but college athletes and professional athletes have tapped into this, but the high school athlete is becoming more and more aware of this, and they are open to the books and the DVDs and the CDs and lectures and the information, the content that's out there on the mind. And so Destination Athlete does a great job at really kind of giving the whole picture to the athlete, all the pieces to put together for greater performance. I really think the mind is largely the glue that keeps it all together.
A lot of times student athletes will come to me overly stressed, disheartened, and almost
Very confused as well.
very confused, and almost to a degree depressed, that I'm receiving these letters, there seems to be interest, but and we try to guide them through, and I think we do a nice job of guiding them and giving them an unbiased opinion of their abilities both in the classroom and on the field. But how do we start to kind of cross that bridge and really help to cover the psychological side of what the recruiting process does to a student athlete and their families?
Well, disillusionment is really the freedom from illusion.
Okay.
And so we might think of that as a negative, that the person's disillusioned, but really that's a good thing. They're freed from the illusion. And so we've got to make them aware of the illusion, that there's a bit of a magic show going on. There's a lot of deception in sports and the recruiting process. And so nobody would typically say that an individual from a school, a college, university flat out lied,
Right.
but we might call a lot of half-truths, partial stories, omitted key information. For example, we actually sent out 10,000 of that same letter you got. We just changed everyone's names.
Right.
And
Right.
so a lot of high school scholar athletes aren't aware of how the other side of the game is played in terms of the recruiting process. And so the more a high school coach can educate the student athlete on that other side, it may help them with a dose of reality.
Right.
The challenge here is that nobody wants to be the bearer of bad news. Nobody wants to burst somebody's dreams.
Yes.
And there can be a heavy consequence from parents if a coach is made to seem as though they burst those dreams.
Correct.
So
Happens all the time.
So I think it's really about having not just the words said,
Right.
but the tonality and the nonverbals associated with how the message is conveyed from a coach to an athlete about the reality of their situation in an attempt to help them be disillusioned.